So we're here today with Pushpa Bansal, and we're talking about some of the recent articles that she's been putting online for NLP, otherwise known as neuro linguistic programming. And as part of our team, our goal is to really understand the information that she's placing online so that we can get it out there in the best way possible for her. So as a team, we're here to ask Pushpa some questions just to get a really clear understanding of the topics that she's sharing. And we thought, hey, why don't we record it? And that way people can also learn from these topics as we're discussing them. So Sarah has some questions for Pushpa that we've put together, and we're just going to shoot and get the ball rolling here.
So first of all, I would like to just jump in and say thank you so much for coming, taking your precious time out of your schedule and coming here. I'm very appreciative of it. And second thing I want to say, I am very grateful for these questions because coming from the expert's point of view, I didn't think there would be a problem.
Everybody has questions.
Yeah. And to see it from different glasses, from different perspective has made me realize, actually there are questions. Yeah. So thank you.
Yes. So Sarah, question.
I have a list of questions here, so I'm just going to read them so they're...
Okay.
Okay, so one of your articles is it's how to bring success into the most important areas of your life. And so, of course, naturally, being an entrepreneur, I really related to this. So my question is, when you talk about the different areas of bringing success into your life, you relate it to communication and talk about what people feel. Can you explain in a little more detail how the two relate so closely?
Excellent question. There can't be any better question than that. And this is why we are doing the training so that people take away that process of how to communicate best and understand the psychology behind it. What is the psychology? So, first of all, the statistics have been, and I can go for about half an hour to explain it to you, which psychologist said when and how it happened, but I'm cutting it all down and I'm giving you just three things that when we can communicate, only 7% of that is our words, what we are saying. 38% is the voice tone, the tonality, how we are saying it, and 55% is the body language. So in every area in life, I have generally put it as six, your relationship, your career, financial, your health and fitness, your personal growth, your spirituality. In all of those areas is how you are communicating with those non-verbal cues matters. And on that article as well, there is an image where there are two people and they are sending energy to each other. And that has also been proven that by scientists that we have an aura field, which is about 18 inches from around us. And within that aura field, if somebody comes in, we think, oh, you're invading my privacy or you can't communicate. So in the West, we keep the distance from a new person at least 18 inches. We don't stand close to them. But when it is our own children, they are so close to us because we have allowed that communication, body language to happen. If you go to somewhere in African subcontinent, there is a tribe who would only be accepting that you are the part of that community when you rub noses together. So it's going that far. But to sum it up is nonverbal communication depends on in which context. That's very important. That you must make sure the context of what you are saying, it matters. So how it has been conveyed, okay? So it's all about the conveying part within the context. So people can sometimes send very obvious messages by saying or not saying anything or doing nothing. Say, for example, like I have my head of the department when I had a be a student in my class. Through the class, I sent the intercom message, please come. And she was sitting in the office and she could come, but she didn't. And one lesson is 90 minutes. And she didn't come for that unruly person. And I'm talking here about a teenager that I have to take care of. So, was it appropriate? What was the message she was giving me, communicating nonverbal?
That it's not important.
Exactly. That she doesn't want to come, that she doesn't want to support me. More important, her role is. So that's how we say that, depending in which context it has been, it was very important because that's her duty or her work that she comes and takes care of it. She's the head of the department. I'm not asking for another colleague to come. So in any area, I've said six of those, when we are communicating, we communicate through our body language, through our voice tone, and through our words. So the communication is extremely important to make sure that you're sending the right message in the right context, in the relationship. So I just have a little bit of statistics for working with the energy of the message in for the coaches, because I believe I'm a coach, and when you are a business coach and you're taking care of you both are, and you're taking care of your clients. So it has been proven that the company Small and Smith, they've done hundreds of hours of observing the coaches and done the questioning, and they found out, and they were doing the sports coaching for athletes, and they found out when the athletes have responded positively to the coaches who provide the positive feedback. Very simple.
It's similar with children.
Yeah, with children. So you can apply it in that. I would apply it in my sales because I've been a salesperson. Ran my own business for nearly 20 years. So, and I had people coming up to the third generation. I don't know how it happened, but they were. And the only thing was because of the nonverbal communication, my body language. And there, I was always not just helping like anybody else, but I was including their children's names in my notebook and would make sure that I asked next time, oh, how's Nick? How's he doing now? He must have moved in the next grade. Or something that the mother is so proud of. She's told me previously, and I wrote it down. I'm not thanking my memory here. I'm thanking the fastidious organization of making sure that I'm returning that communication.
Great, great. Okay,
Good.
question number 2.
You speak to understanding the state oneself is in. Are there specific cues I could pick up to better understand the state someone else is in? So I imagine this would assist with communicating more effectively.
Perfect. And this will be the first part that I would be teaching in that workshop. And everybody will go home really equipped with that tool, that how to know that state. But most importantly, before I go to that, is yes, you will. But the most important is that you need to know your IR. IR is your internal representation. How do you feel inside? A moment ago, yeah, we have seen a shift, or a moment ago, Karen, you said to me that I saw a shift in you. My IR had changed since I've come back from the training in Toronto. Right? So when you have your IR, your internal representation, which is on a higher vibration, if you imagine there are 10 violins in a room, or there is always one, person who's leading it, if the violin is all of them are quiet, but one of them is playing and has gone on a higher octave, all the others will have to match up and go higher.
Yes.
It's a law of physics. Similarly, when your internal representation is already on a higher vibration, your external representation will have to match that internal representation. But the cues we are going to teach over there, the sensory acuity, how you can see in a person the change has shifted just looking at their face, looking at the size of the eyes or the lips or the color of the color shift, and how to create the rapport.
Right.
Even with the person who's totally against you, create that rapport. So those two things are there, and with the rapport, you can put your idea to the person, even though they don't agree with it, but they agree that this is your point of view and this is the other person's point of view.
Yeah.
And then comes a point in the rapport that we teach, which is we call it pacing. So once you're mirrored and matched, you've gone to their level, and then you lead them. Then you're leading them towards your point in a way that is understood by the other person. It doesn't mean that you are doing a brain hack or you're manipulating them. It simply means how you are putting your point that is reciprocated and accepted by the other person.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and really exciting to learn that in the workshop that you're putting on this in a couple months, and where people can learn how to read other people and be able to get into the same sort of rapport with each other and succeed in their business or in their life, relationships, health, however they need to use it. So we're really looking forward to that. Thank you
Thank
for
you, Karen.
those
Thank you.
questions and for the great explanation.
Thank you.